20%. That's how much of the world's entire oil supply squeezes through one 21-mile-wide choke point called the Strait of Hormuz. This week, Trump threatened to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages if they touch it, and the deadline is this Tuesday. If that waterway closes, oil prices spike in hours. Your gas prices follow within days. This affects you directly, and almost nobody is explaining exactly how. The Strait of Hormuz sits between Iran on one side and Oman on the other, barely 21 miles across at its narrowest point. But through that narrow gap flows 17 million barrels of crude oil every single day. That's oil bound for Japan, China, South Korea, India, and Europe. There is no alternative pipeline that can replace even half of that volume. If it closes, every country that runs on oil, which is every country, faces an immediate supply crisis with no fallback plan. Trump's message was not diplomatic. He threatened to bomb Iran, using language far stronger than what is repeatable here, back to the Stone Ages if they obstruct oil shipping through the strait or if U.S. forces are attacked. A Tuesday deadline is attached. The White House confirmed that U.S. naval forces are already positioned in the region. Multiple aircraft carrier groups are within striking range of Iran. This is not background tension. This is an active countdown with a specific end date. Iran has threatened to close the Strait of Hormuz before, most notably in 2012, when Western sanctions squeezed their oil exports. They held back then because closing the strait would also cut off their own revenue. But this time the math is different. Iran is already operating under maximum U.S. sanctions. Their oil exports are already heavily suppressed. The economic leverage that once restrained them has been largely removed. They have significantly less to lose now than they did 13 years ago, and that changes everything. Buried inside this escalation is a detail most outlets skipped entirely. A US F-15 pilot was forced to eject over the Red Sea during regional operations after a mechanical failure. The airman was recovered safely, the US military confirmed the rescue, but the incident makes one critical point impossible to ignore. American military assets are not positioned at a safe distance from this conflict. They are already in the air, over contested waters, within range of Iranian surface-to-air systems, right now. Here is the direct mechanical link between Hormuz and your wallet. Oil futures markets trade around the clock. The moment a credible threat to those 17 million daily barrels surfaces, a strike, a blockade, any confirmed disruption, traders reprice immediately. Not gradually. Within a single trading session, crude can jump $10 to $20 per barrel. Refiners absorb that cost and pass it downstream within days. The pipeline from a Middle East military strike to your local gas station is fast, automatic, and impossible to stop once it starts moving. History shows that a $10 spike in crude oil translates to roughly 25 cents more per gallon at the pump within 1 week. A $20 spike, entirely realistic if the strait closes, means $5 extra every single time you fill your tank. But it does not stop at gas. Heating oil, jet fuel, food transport, plastic manufacturing, everything downstream gets repriced automatically. Your grocery bill. Your electricity in states that burn oil for power. Your delivery fees. Tuesday is not just a foreign policy deadline. It lands directly in your pocket. As of now, Iran has not formally responded to the ultimatum. The U.S. Navy remains in position. Crude oil closed Friday nearly $3 per barrel higher than Thursday. Markets are already pricing in the risk before a single shot has been fired. The question traders and analysts are quietly asking is not whether Trump is bluffing. It is whether Iran will call it. And whether anyone, including his own national security advisors, actually knows what the morning after a strike looks like. Follow right now. We track the global stories that hit your wallet before you ever feel them at the pump, the grocery store, or your heating bill. This story is not resolved. Tuesday's update could shift oil markets across every major exchange worldwide. If you want to understand what is coming before it arrives at your door, subscribe. The next development in this story is hours away. Do not be the last person to find out.